Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful God, I bear witness there is but one God whose proper name is Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. We are indeed thankful to Allah for his intervention in our affairs by coming to us in the divine person of Master Father Muhammad, to whom holy praise is due forever.
Yes, sir.
We thank him for raising from among us a divine messenger, whom we see as the Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We would be remiss in our duties, and we couldn't even thank Allah in this way, with this kind of sight, if it was not for his witness, one whom he raised up from among us by Allah's permission, just as he raised many others, meaning the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, with the teachings. But this particular one, God had his hand on him from birth.
Talk about it, brother.
And in the past 40 years, he has been a witness bearer to that little man from Georgia that was in our midst for 40 years working, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and has stood in his name by Allah's permission and bore witness to the whole world that man, Elijah Muhammad, that was among us, was more than a messenger. That was the Messiah himself. This man that I speak of is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We thank Allah for him, and as in their names, we greet you in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. All praises are due to Allah. All praises are due to Allah. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm thankful to Allah to be able to be in your presence and have the opportunity on behalf of Minister Farrakhan to represent him, and that's some big shoes to try to fill in representing a man who is not big in stature, but big in God. And I say it because we've come to learn over the years that you don't tell the weight of a person by their friends. You can tell the weight of a person by their enemies. And however some of us may throw the minister around in our mind, and really throw yourself around in your own mind, which we're going to get to in a minute, because you're a very weighty people and don't even know it. But when you look at those who are against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, then you got to try to figure out what kind of weight is this brother carrying. Because those who call themselves Jews are really in control of America and the world. They don't like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Not at all. Not at all, brother.
They really want him dead.
Yes, sir.
Now, just to touch on a little bit of their power, how many of us in this audience are Jewish? Okay. It's not a trick question. And this is a Christian Judeo society called America, is that right? They don't even have Muslim nowhere in it. It's just Christian Judeo society. Right?
Yes, sir. You're on it.
Why is it that every time there's a Jewish holiday, all businesses shut down?
Right.
Why is that?
We ain't Jews.
Come on now, not for Christians.
We're not. And it's not, I'm not against them for having their holidays, but some of their holidays, now this is the financial capital of the world, New York City. Wall Street shuts down.
That's right.
Yeah.
That means you're dealing with some people that got a lot of weight,
A lot of weight, brother.
where they make you in your public school stop going to school for their holiday. Shut down the laws of traffic for their holiday.
That's right.
Make us respect their holiday. This ain't Israel, right? So you think it's not.
Come on, brother.
And then their symbol is the Star of David. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we know if we have any level of consciousness that America is a capitalistic society. It has been set up off of capitalism. You have to understand that. The purpose of bringing kidnapping black people from Africa and bringing them over here to make them slaves was based out of capitalism.
That's right. Had to do it.
Because that white man knew he needed some people to work
Had to do it.
to make a country and a world for himself to free him up from his devils in England. It was the dregs of Europe that set this up. When we talk about the dregs of Europe, meaning they came out of poverty. They came out of prison. And the king and the queen, they allowed them to come over here just in case this thing ain't working, they die, it wouldn't mean nothing to them. Let them peasants die. And they came over here and set up shop, and then their devilishment got into play in their minds, and they said, you know what? We getting strong enough, let's fight against the king and the queen and just get our independence.
There you go.
And it was about capitalism, using us, black people, as commodities.
Very good, very good, very good.
To make money off of us. It's still going on to this very day.
Right.
Your social security number, you know how we used to say back in the day, you know our social security number is the way they track us. You notice every black person's social security number, their middle number is even. Well, you know, that's a little bit. That's in our infancy of ignorance coming into some knowledge. Is that right?
That's not the real deal.
It's really that red number on the back.
Go ahead, brother.
It's that red number on the back.
That's the number.
But what about your birth certificate? Don't you know what I'm talking about right now? There's a law in the prison system that if brothers start talking like this, they get an extra 24 months in solitary confinement for revealing what I'm talking to you about right now.
Wow. It's a secret law.
Because it's that kind of truth that will free you. By the way, the subject matter is part 2. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Good teaching.
Let's give our assistant ministers a round of applause and thank Allah for their words and their spirit. Capitalism. Our birth certificate. Why do you have to have a certificate of birth? What's that all about? To certify that you was born, you here. Your presence is certification that you're born. The certificate becomes a bond for the United States government incorporated to say you belong to them.
Bring it down.
The hospitals used to be known as orphanages.
Remember that?
That's old language, but it's still there. So giving birth to a child in an orphanage makes you and I what? Orphans? And then someone has to come and fill out an application to say they're the father and the mother? When you know that you just pulled that baby out of that sister's womb? What's she got to fill out an application for? See, all of this is tying us legally to bondage with them. And so Isaiah asks in the Bible, who will free the lawful captive? And the preacher don't even know what the hell Isaiah is talking about. Here we got lawful captives that through international law, they can't even come from Africa to try and fight to get us free when we're legally tied to this cracker. So Jesus says in the scripture, go and you'll see a horse and an ass tied. Unloose them. And if anyone asks you what you're doing, tell them the master got need of them. What is that all about? What Jesus is that? When did that happen? We've been made so deaf, dumb, and blind, half of us are jackasses. I don't mean no disrespect. Tied to this man and don't even know you tied to him. Crip walking in blood and all over the place against one another when the real enemy is this doggone cracker. But yet talk about my block. You won't own no doggone block. When you gotta go to a store and see a foreigner making money off of us in our community and don't give a damn thing back, but yet we buying loose cigarettes, beer, and liquor from this doggone enemy. But yet look at your brother who's your next door neighbor and be ready to pop one in him in a minute. It's due to the ignorance that we suffer. My people suffer from a lack of knowledge.
Clear it up.
The Star of David. Why is it on the back of the dollar bill?
Why?
This ain't Israel, or is it? Now someone went, Star of David's on the back of the dollar bill. See? And you know we used to hear money talk. But you just gotta know how to read it. You got the pyramid back there, is that right?
Yeah, I'm there, brother.
With the missing capstone, with the all eye seeing coming out of the capstone.
Right.
You got an eagle back there.
Right.
What is all that meaning? The eagle is the bird of prey. And the eagle has in its claws arrows and an olive branch. It's talking peace, but it's ready for war. And this is the seal of America. So what did Jesus say about the Son of Man's coming? That he would come out of the east unto the west. He said, wherever the carcass is, which is the remains of that which was once alive, there shall the eagle be.
Scavengers. Yeah. That's weird.
Why ain't nobody teaching us that Jesus is talking about a future time that we're living in right now? That we represent that carcass,
That's right, brother.
dead from the neck up, walking around on a vertical level, but living and thinking from a horizontal level.
Right.
And anything on a horizontal level is dead. So we think from our lower nature
That's right.
in everything. When I say we, I'm not talking about you. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But for every one of us in the audience, we represent 15 others that are not here. And we know people that are just as savage as hell, and some of us ain't too far away from savage. With all of our knowledge and supreme wisdom. See, supreme wisdom is that which is supreme. It's the highest. And there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge in the world. But the highest form of knowledge is the knowledge of God. Not the knowledge of prophets. The knowledge of God and the knowledge of yourself. So here's what's our brother? Man. Is it Solomon? That says know thyself in the Bible? In all of thy knowledge, get knowledge of self.
Yeah, I think of West Solomon.
Know thyself. We have to know ourselves. And I don't mean that to say, well, I know me. You see what it is? You don't know me. My mama don't know me. See, my girl don't even know me. So nobody really know me. But I know me. But you may be knowledgeable of yourself. But at the nature and the essence of you, underneath the eyes, the ears, the nose, the voice box, the heart and the lungs, underneath all that is the essence of the Creator. Do you know that part of yourself? Because that's the knowledge of God.
Very good.
And when you know God, from the way God thinks all the way up until how God creates, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. When you know the originator and then know yourself, you can use your knowledge of the originator to size and measure yourself up. That you and I may start living up to our true nature, which is God.
Come on.
And a lot of people don't want to do that.
No.
It's easy for us to point the finger at one another, but we don't want to point it at ourselves and look within. And Jesus said in the scripture, you got to be able to see out in order to see in. That's a deep statement. See out in order to see in? It's not hard to understand. You see somebody that's strung out on crack, or somebody that's an alcoholic, or somebody that's on dope, nodding out. There, but for the grace of God, go on. It's not for us to make mockery of. It's for us to look at what we could fall into if we're not careful. But to see out in order to see in, if my eyes are only made to see out, I can't see inside of myself. But there is a third eye. And who's going to open that third eye unless we are willing to take on the knowledge that will light up our minds to look inside of ourselves from the viewpoint of the originator? So what is the duty of a civilized person according to our lessons? To teach the uncivilized who are savage. What are we teaching them? Civilization. What is civilization? Righteousness. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, the pursuit of happiness. Brothers and sisters, look, I'm saying this as we're going into the subject matter. We have a duty and responsibility in the Nation of Islam. To the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have a duty and responsibility to Minister Farrakhan. We have a duty and responsibility to ourselves and our people, but ultimately we have a duty and responsibility to Allah.
Yes, right.
We cannot justify our existence if we don't know who we are.
That's right. That's true.
And so our duty is to make sure we come to our people with this knowledge to give them civilization. Right?
Yes, sir.
Teaching righteousness is not something that is far-fetched, but it's by teaching, instruction, and example. Now here you have on the back of the dollar bill that Star of David. And that Star of David is representing something and someone. It's representing Israel. But it's also letting us know who are the children of Israel. And the children of Israel are sitting right here in these seats. Whether you understand it or not. And so, here's the Jews don't like Minister Farrakhan. They say he's an anti-Semite. They say he hates Jews. Then you have those who are gay and lesbian society say Minister Farrakhan's homophobic. Then you have white people that say Minister Farrakhan is a racist. Is that right? Yes, sir. Then you have the President of the United States, that one that represents that office, always looking at the minister. And there is, as the minister has said at our Holy Day of Atonement message, every government agency in the United States of America is investigating Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Every one of them. And he pointed out my lawyers right here in the audience. He can tell you all of them are investigating us. We don't carry no weapons on us or in our homes.
That's right.
Now that's very important.
Very important.
Why? Because eventually this beast, he's looking for a way to kill us. I don't mean just Nation of Islam, black people.
Yes, yes, sir.
And he has to have a platform to be able to come in. Remember, brothers, how those of us that would be on the street, every once in a while a squad car would pop up and just start frisking us down. For what? They call it profiling now. It's always been profiling. But they would say there was a robbery in the area and you fit the description. You just want to see, you know. You know, it was a black person between 5'8", 5'10", low crop haircut, you know, a little bit of facial hair. That's all of us, for the most part, you know. And then we wouldn't be able to do anything about that. But when you are talking about a whole government agency investigating the Nation of Islam, and I'm saying we don't carry weapons and we don't have weapons in our house, this enemy eventually plans on coming into the community and going door to door looking for guns. And when they knock on that door for that reason, it ain't about whether I can come in or not. I'm coming up in there. And if there's any resistance, heads are going to get busted and some people just may get shot. But that's the excuse to be able to come in and start killing us as well as disarming the black community. You notice we're the only community where they say turn your guns in and there won't be no questions asked. They don't do that in the white community. And these people got assault rifles and everything else. Why they only do that in the black community? They want to disarm the black community so that when they coming down with the slaughter, you ain't got nothing.
Can't fight back.
Now, I'm not saying that to try to influence people like you better get your gun. No. Part of why I'm saying that is when they make their move on us, it can't be about looking for guns.
Right, that's right.
Because we don't carry guns on us or in our homes.
Right.
Now, some of us used to carry guns before we came into the nation.
Yeah.
And some of us, it took a while to let that gun go.
Yes, sir, brother.
But we have the backing of Allah.
That's right.
That's right.
Make it plain.
And Allah is the supreme being, black man of Asia. When I speak to you, I'm talking to Allah.
Right, come on now.
But there is a supreme being, one supreme in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, and refinement that's supreme above all of us, who is alive.
That's right.
Listen.
But we also got an army that you see, and there's an army that you don't see.
There you go.
See, there are brothers and sisters that they love the Nation of Islam and won't come in the ranks because of certain things.
There you go.
But they like, when they go down, I got your back. Let them try it.
That's right.
Let the enemy come against, because they're going to come against us.
They gonna come.
And it ain't like we're going to be like sheep,
Right.
No.
waiting to get, sheared. You know, when the sheep are getting their hairs shaved off, they just go through it. Bah. And they just let it all. Oh, hell no, we going to fight. Oh, no, I don't know how many going to fight. We'll find out who's a punk that day, but we going to fight. Oh, no. Don't get me wrong, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna say it and get off of it, but I'm just saying.
Busy. We gonna get busy.
When the true believer says his prayer, oh Allah, when surely I've turned myself to thee, O Allah, striving to be upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death is all for Allah, Lord of all the worlds, no associate as he, and this I am commanded. Look, brothers and sisters, that means to us.
Come on.
I don't give a damn if it's my mama.
Right.
Look, you come against this, there's going to be some serious problems.
Sir.
What do I mean by this? Not the mosque. This knowledge and wisdom that gave us life.
Right.
That has civilized us. To where we look at our black woman differently than the way we used to look at her. Or we look at our young sisters differently, our brothers differently, our children and other children that look like us differently. We will die for this. There was too many that died in the Middle Passage and too many that died in slavery. We stand on their shoulders. Look, it's no problem with us giving our life for you. And our freedom, justice, and equality. But we ain't going to give our life for you in no funk. No. Savage behavior.
No.
But for the sake of establishing a nation.
Yes, sir. Come on now.
Take it.
In the name of God.
Yes, sir.
Oh no, brothers and sisters. This is forever.
Locked in.
This is the end of the devil's rule. And the establishment of the kingdom of God. And we understand that very well. I don't know if okay, I'm good. So, I was saying that to say that the weight of the government of America is very heavy. Because the government of America has shaken a majority of the whole world.
Right.
She has her ships and her armies and her military might in at least 192 nations around the world. There's only 196.
She's an empire.
When her ships are sitting on the waters of foreign shores, it's a threat.
Yes, it is.
When she has her military might going in and out of different countries, because she's threatening.
Restrictions.
And everybody in all those different countries are, frightened of America. And that same military might and everything is against Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. FBI, CIA, police, you name the alphabets, all of it. Some of them in here.
That's right. Right in here.
Okay, come on.
That's right. Yeah, come on now. That's right.
So when you judge it by the weight of the enemy, we're really dealing with some heavyweight people in a heavyweight nation. But check this out. It's written in the scriptures